Hello, and welcome to Module 4 of Courageous, Emotional Alchemy Intensive. I'm Helena Grant, and I am honored to welcome you to this movement practice to assist us in the work that we are doing this week. Emotional alchemy is based on the premise of ancient alchemy, where the ancients sought to transform lead into gold, which at the time was a semi-futile endeavor, but we have of course realized now that it can be done. But in the process of trying to turn one substance into another highly desirable substance, they stumbled across a really incredible process of transmutation. And that is a big theme in this course. So we are going to be doing some movement in this practice that really focuses on the hips. The hips in the human body, if you think of the actual physiology, they're the whole sort of hip girdle, the hip area, the groin, the pelvis is shaped like a bowl. And when you think of it that way, you can kind of envision that emotions can sort of get collected in that area. They sort of fall down and get all sort of congregate in this area of the hips. So a lot of emotion gets stored in here, and emotion is an energy, as everything is. And everything that's energy is also a vibration. So in the movements that we're doing, we are assisting in the flow of vibration. And again, really looking to turn one thing, sort of that heavy, leaden feeling, or feelings, most likely, into something light and delightful and golden. So today's practice, we're actually going to start on our bellies on the mat in a restorative pose called Makarasana, crocodile pose. And I wanted to start out the practice today in that resting pose because rest is such an imperative aspect of progress and really being efficient and also very productive. And we don't always think that way, but as we move into this practice, having these moments on the mat is really going to benefit us enormously. So Makarasana, I invite you to come onto your mat, onto your bellies, and you're going to flip your feet out towards the corners of the mat, and really bring the whole body down, and you're going to cross your hands over one another, and that is going to be the resting place for your forehead. And you can kind of wait until it's comfortable. I personally like to have right between my eyes, the bridge of my nose sort of resting right near my wrist. And if this is not comfortable for you, you can just have them right against the mat. But this opens up the hips just a little bit. And as you lay here, just take some nice, deep, cleansing breaths in through your nose and out again through your nose. And continue breathing in that way, really feeling the support of the earth beneath you, likely connecting with you right at those hip points, maybe at the ribs, your elbows, your forearms, your knees, and your feet. And that's just a really wonderful relationship that we're in with the earth. It's our mother, our ally, our friend, and we can really benefit the earth in the same way the earth can benefit us, and especially as we move through this process of shifting emotions from one form into the other, the earth can really support us in that process. And it's just always there for us, always available. Always ready to help us ground down and assist us in our journeys. So now I invite you to just take 2 more deep breaths. In and out. In and out. And you can start to bring your head side to side. Move your legs around, switch your legs side to side like windshield wipers. And bringing your hands underneath your shoulders, pushing up. And we're gonna come to the top of our mats in Tadasana. Now we started the last practice in Tadasana. You can face you to give you a refresher. This is mountain pose, so very strong, tall, straight, sturdy, and really focusing on those 4 corners of the feet. The pinky toe corner, the ball of the foot, and then the 2 corners at the back of the heel, the inner, the outer. And you're really doing an internal rotation with your thighs while also externally rotating with your legs, almost like you're ripping the mat in 2. And then the shoulders can come up to the ears and then back down the back, and then turning the hands out, bringing that belly in. You can kind of tuck the spine just a little bit. And breathing here, really enjoying this moment of being just able to balance on 2 feet and yet fully connected and fully supported by the earth. Okay, now I'm going to turn back to the top of the mat. We're going to proceed with Surya Namaskar B. This is Sun Salutation B. This is going to be bringing up some heat and really getting us warmed up. So inhaling, come into chair pose, really sitting back in that chair. Remember, your knees are just making room for you to be able to see all 10 toes. Nice straight back. Breathing in and folding down. Step 1 foot back, step the other foot back. And of course, the option to lower the knees and come down into Bhujangasana, or come all the way forward into Chaturanga, up into up dog, and back into down dog. Take 5 breaths here. And really can walk that dog out as you're taking those 5 breaths, moving side to side, moving the hips a little bit. And bring the right foot up and all the way forward in between your hands. You can assist it with your hand if you need to. Spin the back foot to a 45-degree angle and coming up into Warrior One. A little bit of a back bend here. Inhale and exhale all the way down, back into your lowering down, up into Bhujangasana or up dog if you'd like. And you can walk forward. Halfway lift as you arrive. Nice drop back, straight back, down, and then up. Tadasana, Samastahiti, salute. And back into chair pose for the other side. And folding forward, left foot back, right foot back. Down into down dog. Lift the left foot up, in between both hands, spin the back foot, inhale, rising up into Warrior One, a little bit of a back bend, and hands on either side, stepping back, knees down or full Chaturanga, Bhujangasana or up dog, and down into down dog. Another 5 breaths here. And step or jump forward. Halfway lift as you arrive. Down into forward fold. And upward salute, hands to heart center. Very good. I imagine that, like me, you are feeling that heat. And so now with that energy, we're going to come down into our table and do some cat-cow, which you know I love. Inhale to cow, exhale into cat, inhale into cow, exhaling into cat, inhale into cow, exhale into cat. And also, as we did in the previous movement practice, we're going to do some circles with our full body. So again, absolutely fine to just stay right here. Or you can make your circles just a little bit bigger, and they can just keep getting bigger. Keep getting bigger. And in the other direction. Wonderful. And coming back to center, again, making sure you have a nice square stance. Belly comes into the spine. Sometimes it's easy to forget. And let's bring one leg up to the side. This is like peeing dog, right? And this leg, we're going to circle. You can make little circles, but it feels really good to make some big circles, really tracing that wonderful shape in the air. And let's come around and do the other direction. This feels really good in the hip. This is lubricating the hip joint, getting that semiotic fluid going. And coming to the other side, nice. Circles that are big enough to make you feel like you're getting a little bit of a workout, but you know, it isn't creating any discomfort. And you might find that your range of motion on one side or the other is very, very different. And that is totally fine. We love for our bodies to be balanced and symmetrical, but that is not always the case. Okay, so now we'll come back into down dog. And we're going to be moving into a little bit more of a movement sequence. So bringing that right foot up in between the hands and continuing to keep that leg straight. You can keep your leg up in the air. You can also bring it down if you feel more comfortable with that. You just want that stability. And if you need a little assistance, a little extra padding for your knee, feel free to fold your mat over or use a blanket. So here in this nice long lunge, on the inhale, coming up, and on the exhale, just letting the body sink in to this position. Getting great heat here in the quad and wonderful stretch here in that hip. Crescent lunge, wonderful. And one more breath here, inhale. And exhale, we're gonna spin that back foot down to that 90-degree angle into warrior two. Shoulders down the back, arms straight out, looking out, gazing out over those fingertips. Feeling very strong, very straight, ready for any battle. And most importantly, a battle of love. And from warrior two, we're gonna spin that front foot to mirror the back foot. And you might wanna bring your stance in a little bit and have your feet then turn and bend both knees and both arms, bringing that tailbone into a more tucked position, and the arms can come down into goddess pose. Wonderful. You can, if you're feeling like you want to have a little bit more space created, you can inhale, come up, and then exhale, sink down a little bit. You might gain a little bit of space that way. Inhale, Exhale. You might be able to come just a little bit deeper. Inhale and exhale. Down into goddess. And you want your knees tracking out right over your toes. And again, the shoulders right down the back. Excellent. Coming up. And now we're going to bend forward in this wide straddle. So bringing those feet parallel again. Hands on the hips, belly in towards the spine. Bending forward with a nice flat back. As we come down all the way as far as our body is willing to go. Right now, and you can widen your stance a little bit. You can see if your head can come down to the mat or the ground, but if this is as far as you go, this is as far as you go. Just keeping that neck nice and long, nice and straight, and really allowing gravity to assist you in this pose and position. Wonderful. And now spinning that front foot back again, hands on either side, stepping back into plank. Let's focus on that really straight line, that neck nice and long, bringing those belly muscles in, those abdominals, and coming forward if you're doing a full chaturanga or knees down into Bhujangasana, up into your upward fold, and then back down into downward dog. Let's take nice 5 breaths right here. We just did a lot of work. You can walk the dog again, side to side. And then when you're ready, and I am going to flip around so that I can face the camera on this next sequence. So bringing the other leg up, and again, that nice long stance. And on the inhale, coming up, you can of course bring the knee down, add the extra padding if you need to. Nice, strong, and steady in your crescent lunge stance. Good heat in the quads, nice squaring of the knee over the ankle, and a beautiful stretch here in the hips. Wonderful. And now flipping that back foot to the 90-degree angle into warrior pose. Nice, strong, steady, ready to fight for what's right. Fantastic. And then bringing that foot to meet the other, they're mirroring each other, and coming down into goddess. And you might find you want your stance to be a little bit closer this time. Totally fine. Again, breathing in, coming up, and exhale, coming down into that stance. Inhale up, and exhale, coming down into the stance. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale. Oh, I had some creaking in my shoulder blades. Really, again, remembering to keep those shoulders down the back. And up again. Inhale. And let's bring the feet to parallel. Hands on the hips. Nice straight spine. Belly in. And bending forward into our wide-legged straddle. And as you come down, you might find that you want to widen your stance a little bit. And that might also assist you in bringing the crown of the head down to the ground. This is a wonderful stretch for the legs. It's also an inversion for the top half of the body. It's a wonderful way to reverse the flow of your being, which is highly, highly beneficial in this process of emotional alchemy. Excellent. Now, bringing the hands back to the hips. Nice straight spine. Again, belly in, giving you that great core support. You can walk your legs in a little bit. When we came down this way, we can bring our hands to either side of that front foot. And you can just meet us back in downward dog, or you can choose to do a vinyasa. Down into chaturanga, Adho Mukha, and back into down dog. I guess this is Adho Mukha. The other one is Urdhva Mukha. Yes. Okay, well, we're facing this way. So let's bring this leg up. And we're going to bring it again between the hands. We're moving into pigeon pose. And, lizard. Pigeon is next. Lizard pose, we're gonna bring the hands to either side of the inside of that front foot. You can bring your back knee down if you would like, or you can keep it up. And if being right here gives you what you need, what you're looking for, not discomfort, but just a little bit of a sensation in the hip area, feel free to stay here. If you're ready to come a little bit deeper, take a nice inhale, and then you can bend your elbows, or you can come down to a block if that feels good to you. And in this position, you want to be thinking of bringing this back foot back and the back foot forward. Front foot back foot forward. So you're creating not quite a tension, but really like an attraction between the 2 feet. And that, again, is really engaging your hip area, your pelvic bowl. Bring that belly into the spine. And on the inhale, coming back up to your hands and stepping back. I'm just gonna step back into downward dog. We don't need to do a vinyasa right now. Let's just take a couple of breaths here in down dog. Wonderful. Bringing that other foot up, stepping it between the legs, bringing both hands to the inside of that front foot. And again, you're welcome to stay here or find a way down into a position that really, again, opens up that hip area, that inner hip, that really just does not get a lot of attention, but it gets a lot of tension. And it just collects there, and it's very quiet about that tension. And right now you might be feeling like it's not being very quiet. It's kind of screaming at you. And that's when we send it love. We just send a lot of love and compassion down to that sensation. Okay, and just again, stepping back into downward dog. And actually, let's just come down into a nice child's pose. You can keep your arms extended out or tucked in next to you. This is a wonderful resting pose. Again, always available to you, ready to support you and help you integrate all that you do, help you unify in this process, this journey of yoga. Beautiful. So taking another breath or two here, in and then out. And meeting us back again in downward dog. Now we're gonna go into pigeon. And an alternative for pigeon, I'll actually start with the alternative, is figure 4. pigeon is a little bit of an intense pose, so figure four, you're going to bring your leg, cross your ankle over your quad, and bring your leg in towards your chest. And you're actually pushing out on this squared leg with your elbow. That creates some traction and a really beautiful stretch here in the glute, the back hip area. And then when we switch sides, you'll obviously come to the other side. So that is an option, figure four in lieu of pigeon. But if you would like to do pigeon, we're gonna bring the leg up and cross it. The right ankle's coming up to the left hand and sitting back into that hip area. I have a little assistant here. And an option to stay here. This is an excellent stretch. Or you can come down sort of as we did into Makarasana. And I'm getting very assisted in my positioning here. Thank you, Belle. And again, you might be hearing some shouts and some murmurs from that hip area. And if that is the case and you're very uncomfortable, I encourage you to come into the figure four position. But you also might find that with the breath, you can just settle into this resting position, this resting pigeon, this wonderful position that really opens up that area, which really, again, collects those emotions. And taking just a few more breaths here. Wonderful. Coming up onto the hands and back into downward dog. Hello.
It's like facing a rainbow.
It's like facing a rainbow. Yeah. Can you come to the side? I need to go to the other side, and then you can assist me. Go up that way, please. Okay, and bringing that other leg up and crossing it over so that your ankle matches up with the opposite wrist and your knee over to this side.
You look sweaty.
I know, it's very hot in here. We got very hot in our warm up. And really settling down into the hip girdle. Breathing, and of course you're welcome to stay here. You want that leg to be straight out behind you. Or you can breathe and come down into resting pigeon. Really allowing your body to sink in into this space. Really enjoying, really just focusing on enjoying whatever comes up for you. If it's discomfort, if it's maybe even some anger, whatever's there, breathe into it. Really send it compassion. Let it know that you're here and you're listening. Wonderful. Taking another breath here, in and out. Raising up under the hands and back down into downward dog. Taking a few breaths here. Out in and out, and let's come down onto the knees. You can shake things out a little bit, maybe a little Cat cow, just for good measure. Wonderful. And now make your way down to the mat. Let's do our lowering down. Little extra core work. And we're gonna lower down to the count of 16 this time. 16. So 16, 15, really keeping that belly tucked in tight. 14, 13, and the shoulders back. 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Fantastic. Oh, thank you so much. A little refreshing beverage for me. I'm almost finished. Thank you so much. Yes, cooling right down. Knees to chest, rolling around a little bit. Are you gonna join me, Belle? Wonderful. Rolling around on that sacrum, maybe even stirring the knees in circles. We did this before, but we're on a different plane this time. And in the other direction. I don't know what my assistant's doing. Hopefully she's mirroring me. And of course into happy baby, happy baby, happy baby, happy body. Happy baby, happy body. My baby's got the hiccups. And extending one leg out, nice and straight. And the other leg, ooh, I felt that in my hip. And again, just maybe pulling down a little bit on the feet, bringing those knees into the shoulders, really beautiful opening in the hips. And then our final pose, oh, excuse me, can you move down a little bit? Can you move down? Thank you. Into Settu Baddha Konasana. I love to think of this as, I know, can you watch out please? As the butterfly pose. I need you to move that way. Otherwise people can't see me doing the yoga poses. And this is a wonderful, resting, restorative hip opening pose. And you might find that your hips are nice and open, nice and lubricated. If you are uncomfortable, you can choose not to do this. You can also put support. You can put blocks underneath your legs and knees to kind of assist you in reaching this position. You can push down a little bit on your inner thighs with your hands. You can also just allow your hands to come to rest on your heart and your belly. Just gonna breathe here for a few breaths. Final poses here, again, melting back down into the earth, but melting back with our backs rather than our bellies. And when you feel complete in this position, bring the knees. You can assist the knees coming back together with your hands and bring your legs down to straight and into Shavasana. Resting, final resting pose, corpse pose, letting everything go. And this position is just like Tadasana, which we started with, but again on a different plane. And on this plane, we are again fully assisted and supported by the earth and the ground. So take some nice deep breaths, and then we'll just settle in for a few quiet moments, doing nothing to regulate the breath or the body. Just a moment, Belle. Final Shavasana here. Wonderful. And when you feel ready, you can start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. You can shake your head side to side. Give yourself a nice stretch. Arms over the head, toes all the way out. And turning to your right side, onto the right side into fetal position. Really thinking.
What is yoga's older than dinosaurs?
Yoga is almost older than dinosaurs, it's true.
How old is yoga?
Oh, many, many thousands of years old.
What?
And coming
What?
up,
1,100?
using your hands to come into a seated position. You want to come and sit with me? Come sit with me.
Could you see my shadow?
Yeah. And taking some nice deep breaths, really thanking your body for the practice that you just went through, feeling that flow of energy really assist you in alchemizing your emotions. And I want to thank you for joining me, not just in this movement practice, but in the courageous journey in uniting your will and living from your heart. I personally began this journey myself for this little one right here.